completely tune off on that we reach in the show, you know, stuff that I just don't think is possible in any way, shape, or form.
Has anything wonderful... Oh, and of course, this is our resident Yeti. Mr. Yeti, just turn to the camera there, so yes, that's our Yeti, and all known as Ewan to the
Gillian.
occasionally. Thank you. Oh, that's what we wanted, because these are the new, the X-Files video, because you're out here for those companies, and also they're on Foxtel at the moment. But, I mean, has anything really weird and wonderful ever happened to you? Slightly weird?
Weird and wonderful?
Well, weird. Let's just start with weird. I know wonderful things have happened, but what's weird?
Nothing really weird has ever happened to me. I wish that they had, so that I could talk about them on
But you
talk
do believe in
shows and
ESP?
stuff. Yeah, I do.
Have you had premonitions?
I haven't had premonitions. Well, once in a while in my life, I've had a dream, and and then it's come true, but nothing so substantial that I could tell you about it right now. Mostly little coincidences in life that happen, you know, where you think, oh, I was just thinking about that person, and you run into them, you know, that just mild, boring stuff.
Dana, with your life in the last couple of years, it's really been...
You can call me Gillian.
Awesome. Dana Scully. I'm talking, I mean, because I am so addicted to the X-Files. Gillian, in the last couple of years, 93 is when the X-Files started, you've like had this fairy tale rise. You were virtually unemployed and went from waiting tables into a huge television show, your own show. Did you realise how important it was when you started that?
No, I don't think that I did. I think that if I had realized it, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. You know, I think that's one thing is that we're shooting in Vancouver, and so it's not in Los Angeles. It doesn't have the same degree of hype all the time that it would if we were shooting down there. So we're separated enough that it was a gradual rise for us, and also because it was a gradual rise for the show, period. You know, it was considered purely a cult success with very few viewers at the beginning, and then it built up and built up to a mainstream show. But so we all had a very kind of comfortable ride forwards and upwards. It wasn't as crazy as it could have been.
And after reading some research, Gillian, I understand that you're a far more down-to-earth person, because I get the impression that you're far more interested in your life rather than a movie star television life. For instance, just literally in the first year, you got married. In fact, you met your husband on the set.
I did.
How did that happen?
Well, he was working on the show, and I was working on the show, and I saw him walking around one day, and I asked somebody who he was and what he was about, and somehow we ended up going to dinner and getting married and having a baby. And
it was pretty quick too. What did he do on the show?
He was one of the art directors on the show. And then shortly after we got married, he quit. He felt like it was a conflict of interest for us both to be working on the same show. And so he moved on and has been designing films and MOWs. And right now he's working for a company called Mainframe Entertainment, which does a show called Reboot in the States, which is a completely computer-animated children's show. And so he's been designing shows for them.
And in the very first year of X-Files, you fell pregnant. And now there's a lot of actors...
Fell pregnant. Well, that's an interesting term.
You became
I was
pregnant.
struck pregnant.
Well, sort of doesn't really hit you, does it? Oh, maybe sometimes. But I mean, that's an interesting move, because your life was far more important than your career. Because were you prepared to give up the television show if the producers had said, nope, we don't want a pregnant Dana Scully on it?
Yeah, I was. When I discovered that I had fallen pregnant, I really had to make the decision for myself whether it was something that I wanted, and I was determined to make it work, because I couldn't see not going through with it for myself. And so I had to make that decision for myself and trust that whatever the producers decided was how it was going to be, and that was going to be okay.
In fact, they relished the thought almost, didn't they?
Well, no. I don't think they relished the thought at all.
But they worked around you.
They did. They tried very, very hard to make it work. And They, especially the crew at that time, the crew was incredibly supportive. You know, I'd be standing up for a shot, and then they'd run over an apple box, which is a box that I'm normally standing on because of my height. But they'd run one over to me for me to sit on to rest my feet and stuff, and they were just wonderful. And they brought in a cot, and so in between scenes, I'd sleep on the cot. And
who was the first person you told besides your husband on the show?
My mom. But the first person on the show was David that I told.
And, of course, you know, women around the world absolutely love and adore David Duchovny. How well do you two get along? Clearly, it must be a fairly warm relationship if he was one of the first people you confided in.
Well, I confided in him first, mostly. I mean, we are close, but I confided in him mostly because I knew that I had to go to the producers, and that was a terrifying concept to me. And so I wanted to experience somebody else's reaction who was close to the show, and his was, I mean, it was like his knees were knocked out in front of me. We just kind of had to steady himself for a second. But we are close. We know each other very well now because of the intensity of the work and the fact that we work together, you know, 14 hours a day, almost every single day. And so we're close in that respect. We don't hang out together on weekends. I spend time with my family, and he does what he does. But
in terms of the show, you have done some weird and wonderful things. You ate a live cricket once, is that
I didn't.
true?
I have to clarify that. I didn't swallow it.
But you actually...
I did put it in my mouth. Well, you have to imagine the situation. See if this is going to make it any better. They had spent like $1,400 to make these chocolate crickets for me, which were about that big. And the real crickets were about that big. And so we're on the set, and there's this guy called the Conundrum, who is not only has puzzle pieces tattooed over his entire body, but he's chomping on crickets. He pours like a huge jar full of crickets into his mouth. They're crawling up his head and down his back, and you know, and he offers me one, and like I'm not going to take one out and put it in my mouth when he's eating hundreds of them in front of me. So it was kind of a self-imposed challenge. But as soon as I turned my back from camera, I spit it out.
Well, this is our little ski show here today, Gillian. And you know who we have later? We've got Stephen Lee, who is an Australian champion, world champion, a legend in this country. And we have got a couple of ski machines. Do you ski?
I have.
You have skied?
I've never skied in heels, though, I might add.
Oh, well, we can take the heels off. We could find some snowshoes for you. Would you stay and have a bit of fun on the ski machine? You know, there's like time zone races.
I might. I'm not exactly sure how much time we have. So if I don't come back, it's
Okay.
because I haven't been able to stay.
Oh,
but we might be able to.
We can make time, can't we? Yeah. Oh, we'll get the rest of these poor
we
people
can.
over here. But it's terrific to have you on the program because I'm a huge fan. I know most of Australia is. And see the kids over here. We've got a bunch of kids sitting in front of our Chilblain Orchestra. They have been literally hanging off the fences of our studio today. We couldn't get enough seats for everybody to sit in to see you. I actually thought it was me for a minute, and then I was really depressed to find out it was for you. But enjoy the rest of your stay in Australia, and
Thank you.
with a bit of luck, you can stay and have some fun on the machine with us. But don't forget you can see X-Files on Foxtel and or watch your own copies. These are the ones that our little Yeti bought in. And there's a special X-Files collection edition. That's it there. It's available now. Please thank our hero, Gillian Anderson.